Hi, it's Eric Robertson, your state representative from the 31st District, talking to you from Olympia on the last week of session for 2022. It's kind of crunch time down here right now, trying to get things done before Thursday night at midnight. A few updates. I last spoke to you about our transportation budget and my disappointment in how the budget was really urban centered. Lots of money for transit and bike lanes and trails and such, which are all fine things, but there wasn't a whole lot to deal with our suburban congestion and safety issues out in the communities that we commute to and from and live about in. We're waiting right now for the negotiated House Senate version of the transportation budget, take another look at it, and that should be coming this week. Also, the bipartisan capital budget, the supplemental budget for capital projects, spends $1.5 billion on things like housing, infrastructure, mental health facilities, school seismic safety issues, expanding broadband. These are all really great projects that will actually create jobs and put people back to work. So I haven't voted on it, but I'm pretty excited about it. Then there's the supplemental operating budget. I spoke about that in the past as well. Unfortunately, it still has no meaningful tax relief in there. It spends away billions of dollars. There's a $15 billion surplus that's out there. It spends it down so far that even the state treasurer has sent us a memo saying, oh, hold on, I think you need to save a little bit more for the budget stabilization account, which is also the rainy day account, if you will. We ran several amendments to try and make that bill a little bit better. Things like providing some meaningful tax relief to citizens with a sales tax reduction, and that was voted down by the Democrats. We also, our law enforcement, we need to recruit, retain, and equip them properly. We had $100 million for recruitment and retention, also helping smaller communities that can't afford body cameras. So that was a good amendment, and that, of course, was voted down as well. And then in response to our concern about the budget stabilization account, the rainy day fund, if you will, we put an amendment out there to save $1 billion in case we face something more difficult down the road. And that too was shot down, and lots of spending. I oppose this bill and really don't care for a lot of the new taxes and fees and things that are in that budget. We've also stopped some really bad legislation. The governor's unconstitutional request legislation to limit free speech was one. And with your help, the Democrats' unconstitutional export fuel tax that would have been 6 cents on every gallon that we export out, caused a lot of grief to our neighbors up in Alaska, Oregon, and Idaho. We heard from them loud and clear. Unfortunately, the Democratic leadership in the House took that bad tax down. I've also talked numerous times about emergency powers. We had a bill that came over from the Senate that was nothing like the good bills that we had proposed over in the House, but it was something that we could vote on. It was, I would call, emergency powers light, if you will. It made some changes, but really didn't fully exercise our position as an independent branch of government with equal powers. We started debating that. The Democrats brought it up at 1 a.m., another one of those bills that they like to bring up in the middle of the night. So we debated it for about 20 minutes and tried to make our case that this was not good enough and that we needed a stronger position as an independent branch of government. But unfortunately, the speaker took the bill down, right? 20 minutes into our debate. So it appears now that we're not going to have any meaningful changes to the governor's emergency powers, which is really unfortunate. We've had a lot of good progress on some small items that have been proposed by my colleagues in the Republican caucus. I'm really proud to have been able to support them, help things like education and some of the law enforcement changes that occurred here last week. And I'll speak more of those during my town hall meeting that's coming up. But just wanted to give you a quick update. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen. I've got to get back to work because we have a lot to accomplish in the next 4 days before we end our session. But please give me your input. Go to the website, give me a call, 360-786-7866, or drop me an email at eric.robertson@leg.wa.gov. I read the emails with the help of my legislative assistant, Megan, and we'll try and get you a response to whatever you need at the time. Again, thank you for taking the time. I'm Eric Robertson, your state representative, and it's an honor to serve you here in Olympia. Thank you.